Get ready to learn with us on Bass University Live. Bass University Live starts now. Welcome to Bass University Live, everybody. Good morning, Riz.
Morning.
Good to have you with us, and good to have everybody with us today.
Yeah.
Todd Castledine is back with us today.
Yeah.
Very excited to have him back. He's done some amazing things at Bass University that have really exposed some great techniques to our audience, and Riz, some of us have put them to work.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we have. Can confirm. Did call Todd last week after he said that I would when I figured out the hybrid hunter, and I'm excited about the journey that I'm about to go on with that bait because I'm still real new to it. But yeah, he's been impactful on us so far at Bass University.
He sure has. Jake at the BFL.
Yeah.
Had a big day with the hybrid hunter.
Okay.
So, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. And we're super excited to have him. We're gonna be talking sight fishing, which gives is an amazing sight fishing seminar. Riz, you help him put together.
Yeah. It's hey, everybody has their deals. Some people are really good at certain things. Other people are better at other things. And one of the things that Todd is really good at is sight fishing. And he in fact just won a tournament down in Texas, big tournament, TTO. 30 G's hit the pockets from the sight fishing strategy. So it'll be exciting to dive in on that with Todd.
Yeah, it definitely will. Lot going on. Have you guys downloaded the new Bass U app? If you haven't, get it done, man. Everybody's talking about the Bass U app and all the great new features. By the way, some new features just dropped. Were comments, which people have been asking for, and they're available now on the Bass University on the Bass University app, Bass University website. So you can make your comments, talk to us about what you're seeing, what you're learning.
Yeah.
I know your comments would be, hey, check out the hybrid hunter. So would Jake. So Go guys, get that downloaded. Good morning, Coach Prince. Good to have you with us. I know Neil Paul and Coach had it was all about South Carolina on the elites the last couple of weeks. Amazing 4-pound fest at both Santee Cooper and Lake Murray in the last couple of weeks. Rich, it's
big
weights. What a great couple of lakes down there.
Oh yeah, big weights. Shout out to Chris Johnston for absolutely throttling them over the course of 4 days. 113 pounds. That is incredible. Huge margin of victory.
32-pound bag one day. Crazy.
Yeah.
Good. Devin's talking about the new Berkeley drop, the new sea urchin style bait. What's it called? The MOEBA. Is that what it's called? MOBA?
MOBA? Amoeba? I don't know.
I don't know either. It's brand new. JH just talked to us about it. I just saw the text about it. He dropped the new bait. I can't wait to see it. People say that it looks good. You're right. It is God's country, Coach.
Yeah.
South Carolina's got it going on, man. It's in the post spawn. It's shining. Right. But good stuff.
Yep.
The Chesapeake Bay was hot. We're going to talk a little bit about that later in the show. We were busy. Shout out to Susquehanna Fishing Tackle for putting on their Summer Slam. Again, we all participated in that, as well as the Chester County tournament. I got to say we took a few lumps this weekend. But we gave them hell out there. And A lot of great stuff going on. We're going to talk more about the fishing down there as we deal with the spawn and some post spawn action.
Potentially sight fishing for them. That's happening right now for about 2 hours a day if you have the conditions right on the upper bay.
Yeah,
you got about 2 good hours where the water's right, and if the wind's laid, you can actually see them and fish for them. And I'm excited to dive in with Todd. And I do have the video, Pete. So if we wanted to bring Todd in, we can roll the video.
Yeah, before and look, I want to show that video when Todd's with us. So, but what I want to talk to you, let's roll into what we've launched this week.
Oh yeah,
coming next week at Bass University.
Yeah. Okay. So this week's release is Foolproof Flipping Techniques with John Cruz. It's all things flipping, all, the strategy behind the sizes, the weights, the shapes, the colors, the line, the styles, everything flipping. Foolproof Flipping Techniques with John Cruz. And last week's release was Greg DePalma, Lessons from the Elite Series. And it's just a collection of things that he has fine-tuned in his fishing that he has dialed in over his, now tenured career with the elites. And so those were the releases this week at Bass University.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching down John Cruz. I'm looking forward to you guys looking at that and learning from that. If you lack confidence on flipping, and a lot of people do, believe it or not, with that big rod, that big line, getting that close and personal to the fish is something that doesn't come natural to a lot of people. So John really breaks it down. He's deciphered and helps you troubleshoot all the problems that you might face from hook setting, managing fish, with that big rod and line. He takes care of all of that this seminar. So it's a must see for those people who are fishing or flipping aficionados, and it's a must watch for people that want to get better at that technique or learn that technique. So great stuff from John Cruz. So without any further ado, man, let's bring in the man. Let's bring in the man of the hour, fresh off a nice win down in Texas.
Bring him in.
Good work.
I called Todd this week. He told me, he said, when you figure it out, you're going to call me. So I called him.
That's pretty funny.
I did I or did I not? I called you, man.
You text me or whatever it was, like you text me like I'm calling or something like that, and then I think I text you back and you called instantly.
Yeah, I sent you a picture of it sideways inside of a fish's mouth, and you said, "Did you get it?"
Yeah, no, you said you called. You said you told me Yeah, that's what it was. You sent me that picture. You're like, "Hey, you told me I'd call you when I figured it out," and I was like, "Yep."
And you gave me my next assignment, so I'm gonna go down that road with colors. So,
but it was still like. Here's the funny thing, though. Don't take offense to this, okay?
It took too long.
But why? But it wasn't because of me. What happened?
My co-angler in the BFL was waxing me behind me, throwing a hybrid hunter. Mm-hmm. And luckily enough, I had a friend in another boat close enough by that loaned me a hybrid hunter, and I tied it on and caught one on like my third cast.
So don't feel bad about this. So like I've told this story before. So when I had the hybrid hunter and Phil Marks, legendary Phil Marks from Strike King, Phil's like, I laugh because every time I bring this, like if no one's been around Phil, I can't describe how. If you've ever seen him fish with Zona, you know how Zona calls him coach.
Yeah,
because like Zona's a grown man and he's like cowering to Phil because like Phil's so like coach intimidating type, not intimidating, but and so Phil's just got that presence to him. And I always say, man, he used to go battle for Strike King at Walmart and sit in there by himself. And like, if anyone understands like what that's like, I mean, it's usually a team of people, but it's almost like those lawyer shows where you have like 7 lawyers and like 1 lawyer, and it's like there's no way. Well, that was him. So we get out there, and I wanted to show him this bait, and so we go out there and we fish it, and it's in like September on Rayburn. It's horrible. There's no grass. There's like groups of 9 stems of hay grass sticking out of the water that like you would never even think of fishes on. So we go out there and catch like 8 fish that day in 100-degree weather on Rayburn, and they're all good ones. And in my head, I'm going, we shouldn't have caught a single fish today on that bait. Like we shouldn't have ever even caught a fish.
Right.
And I'm like, you got to understand the circumstances, right?
Yeah.
And we get done. I'll never forget. We're sitting in the parking lot, and I'm like gleaming. I'm like, oh, he had to have seen this, right? And he's like, oh, Buck, man, I could have caught all those on a red eye. And
you're like, nah.
And I'm like, what? Right. So
it's so different.
Fast forward a couple months. It's January on Toledo. A buddy of mine's like, hey, it's going down. I said, all right. So I call him up. I said, hey, bring your red eye. Bring whatever you want to throw.
Yeah.
Let's go. I catch a fish, like I catch a 5-pounder. It's really cold. It's freaking freezing out there. He then catches eventually like a 2-pounder and then loses a 7 at the boat. And I'm like, oh, this might have backfired on me. I proceeded to catch 30-something pounds in a row. Just not in a row, but like my next 14 fish add up to 30-something pounds. He finally gets in. He's like, all right, get out of the way. He pushes me out of the way, gets the stuff, starts like catching them. He's catching them. And I'll never, after his 3rd one he catches, he starts explaining to me why the bait works. And I was going, yeah, I've thrown this thing for 10 years, but I'm just laughing because it's so funny. Anyways, we get done and it was over after that. Like he saw then the next day he called me and was like, hey man, I caught some more doing this. And like, it was over after that. But fishing is like that. I figured out like you can tell people everything you want to, but the power of seeing it is way more than me saying it.
Yep. Yeah. And I saw it, Todd. It happened to me. It was like four fish in a row to where the first couple I'm like, it could be a fluke. And then he just, everything he's throwing at, even if there's not grass, he's catching it. He's throwing at wood, catching them. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Had enough.
Like now is the freaking time. But anyhow, man, hey, congratulations on that, on the TTO, man. That's a big tournament. That's 30 G's is what you guys took home for that?
We won a little bit more than that. So with contingencies, they got a good contingency program. And then even our boats, we fished out of my buddy Russell's boat. He has a Vexus. So there was an extra 10 in there. And we won some, I forget what else. We won like a deep dive money and some Chevrolet. I don't know. We won some more incentives. So it was, I think, a 32, something like that.
That's nice. So cool. Yeah. Texas has
big bass. We got big bass too. There was, like I said, you know how that stuff starts adding up.
Yeah. When's the last time we could win 30 G's fishing the bay, Pete?
Man,
that's it.
Only when an open comes, which is like once every 5 to 10 years,
So what's funny, this past weekend we fished a tournament on Ray Roberts, and first place there was a brand new boat. That's like 40. So I mean, we got it going on down here a little bit,
You sure do. You sure do. You're winning a ton of it, and that's fantastic. I'm going to ask you about that, but I want to also give you credit. My son, she fished the BFL, the same one Riz is talking about, is a co-angler, and I'm helping him rig his rods, and he's rigging, and he gets done, and we're leaving in the morning, and I look down, he's got a hybrid hunter tied on, and I'm like, we haven't really dialed it in yet, right? You haven't got the call from me yet. Todd. So we haven't quite dialed it in. He went out and caught all his fish. Well, not all his fish, but his two biggest fish that he weighed in on the hybrid hunter that day. So he had his moment, and that was courtesy of you. Getting him to tie that on. So I appreciate that. So that was
Riz did say that he was like, man. He was like, yeah, you're right. It really wasn't that I had to figure it out. I just had to throw it. It's not overcomplicated. Like, I mean, I've taken too many people that have never thrown it before, and I just hand it to them, and within minutes they're catching fish. Like, they might not doing everything perfect, but there's a difference between being perfect at something and being like, it'll catch fish. Well, just throw it out there. You can get better at the technique, but you can also, just like anything, you can throw good baits out there and reel them, and they'll catch a fish.
Right. Yeah. And that it does.
We did it. He did it, and now he's like, he couldn't wait to tell me. He's like, I can't wait to. He was telling his partner, I can't wait to tell my dad I figured it out. And he did. We had a great time. He had a great time with that. But I want to talk about what you figured out, because you just won another sight fishing tournament, and if you'd have asked most people, man, it's past due. We're not supposed to be winning tournaments on fish we can see this time of year in Texas, and you're doing it. You're are you catching the tail end of the spawn down there? What did you see?
Well, Texas is big for one, so I mean, and I say that because of like, it's just, there you can fit 2 or 3 states. I mean, from going up. So I mean, we've always caught them until way late in May on the northern end of Texas.
Okay.
But even on Conroe, one of my biggest fish I've ever caught on Conroe was May 15th, and they'll start in January. And so, from what I make a ton of videos on the spawn, and I'd say it's probably the entire sight fit. I would say in fishing, the most, what's a nice word I could say? Uneducated thought processes on the spawn are around the spawn, spawning fish, catching fish off beds, catching a 10-pounder off of a bed will absolutely destroy a lake and make that lake have 0 fish in it ever again. I mean, I can go on and on about what people have gone. They hear things. That's one thing I hear. They hear things and they like, okay, well, I'm going to go with whatever I've heard. They don't actually witness what's going on out there. So many times people are like, they're not on beds. Well, maybe it's like, well, did you even go look? Well, well, I went and caught 20 fish today and they were all post spawners. And I'm like, yeah, because you figured out how to go catch post spawn fish. And I'm like, but that guy over there just caught 5 pre-spawners because he fished for pre-spawners, and then some guys on the bank catching all sight fish. And so it's funny too that I'm not going to mention where it was, but I saw a picture of some guys waiting in a giant bag on a lake. And like, I looked at we were like, me and my fishing partner both called each other up. And he's like, did you see that did you see that picture? No one else is going to think like this, but I'm like, yeah. I go, hey, those were pre-spawners. They should have been done a month ago. This is on a lake that I guarantee 100% of the people thought they were done. I'm like, those are pre-spawners. And so I just think people are very unaware of like really what goes on.
Well, I think that's true, and I think a lot of people get frustrated with the with sight fishing for fish. Maybe they're purposefully trying to fool themselves into thinking that the post spawn is where it's at, so they don't have to deal with it, because a lot of people aren't very confident in it. Especially being able to win with it. It's very hard to win those tournaments, but you seem to be able to do it pretty easily.
We commit to it to a fault maybe sometimes, but it's also won us a bunch. But like even this tournament, I mean, there's so much that even goes on in this tournament, in some of these tournaments, and like nowadays of like what's going on. But I mean, we had to overcome. I don't know what was harder, overcoming our day, because we had 4 fish for 7 pounds at 12 o'clock.
Holy smokes.
Or the fact that we got to go beat all these young kids out there scoping. And I say that because I kind of know them all. And they were second, third, fourth. I mean, they've been dominating down here. So, like, we sometimes even wonder if our techniques can beat that. So, you know, it's different.
When the train's rolling, and you go up and you find them, and you're the best. You're the best in the tournament, but one of the best in the country at sight fishing. You connect with them, and you like you said something there that was impactful to me. Like, you commit to it sometimes to a fault, and I feel like that's like the mentality of a winner at times is like a lot of times stubbornness can take you down a bad path. Other times stubbornness can take you down a good path because you find something that nobody else has found. When you had 4 fish for 7 pounds at whenever you said 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever, were you actively looking for for bedding fish? Like
okay.
And you just found them, or did they pull up?
No, you need the whole backstory. The weekend before, we had a tournament there and we sight fished. Going into that event, I shook off. No one's gonna believe it, but I got it on film. Although you can't see it, but you can hear my conversation. And it was, I was on the phone with my fishing partner. I'm like, hey, I found one. It's a giant. Now, I'd already shook off a 4-pounder, a 5 and a 6, another one. Now, 20 pounds won that event. So, like, I'd already shook off almost 20 pounds in practice on beds. I was worried about a couple of them. A couple of them were together, and I was like, I don't know if they'll be there. But I found one about 9. I was lowballing it at 8, but it was probably 9 or 10. I'm sure people didn't even think fish like that exist. And I was like, hey, man, it's not even on the bed. It was doing its thing. Anyways, after about 20 or 30 minutes, I got it to bite. And I got a video of me going, oh, my gosh, I got this thing to bite, dude. Like, no one will find it. And he had found, like, we had 25 to 28 pounds found. And we fished that event. They were almost all gone. I never saw any of the ones I shook off except one 4-pounder. His were gone. We ended up with like 14 pounds. I can't even remember how we caught them all. Like, it was bad. And so we roll around to this event. He had found one about 8 and shook it off. I'd found a couple. He had an 8 and a 6 and some other ones. And like, I had found some, but I didn't really have that many, I thought, found that were that good. And like I said, so we started on the big one. It was gone. We started on some other ones. They were gone. And we started just going down, like, we start on the biggest ones and work our way down.
Yeah. How from the time that you found them to the time that they're not on bed anymore, what's that spread? Is that a day or two?
One day.
Days?
No, like looking at it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 7 in the morning, it's gone.
Wow.
Why would it be gone? Like, it spawned out and just rolled, or decided it wasn't time, or something? Like,
none of them were caught. They were. That's the thing. We saw it. Everyone's like, how long will a fish stay? I'm like, well, we've seen fish stay a week.
Right.
Okay. So I've 100% gone there and seen a fish. There's a female or males. I've seen both stay a week on, like, for sure, like a week. Like, the first Toyota I ever won, I caught this fish at Toledo Bend. It was a Toyota. I caught it on a Saturday because I was getting or Friday. I think it was a Friday. We had off limits all week. I had a tournament on Rayburn on Saturday. So I went there Friday, practiced on Toledo, just wanted to get some, like, practice in, caught this fish. The Toyota started the next Thursday. I just happened to go in that creek Wednesday. I'm like, oh, there's that same fish. And so Thursday rolls around. It was my 3rd fish of the day. I caught it. And I just kind of threw out there to my co-angler. I'm like, I caught this fish Friday. And he, like, looked at me like I was lying. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I'm like, and I weighed it. And I was like, just because I wanted to make sure, like I said, it was the beginning of the sight fishing deal. I wanted to make sure, like, I think that's a 5 something. And when I caught it, I was right. So I weighed it just to, like, Yeah. And I said, yeah, it's like a 567. Or I said that while I was fishing for it. I'm like, that's a 567. Yeah. And I caught it. And he, like, looked at me like I was, like, I think some wheels were turning. Like, what's this guy do? Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I said, no, I caught this the other day. And he still didn't believe me. And I weighed it. And I'm like, look. And it went like 566 or something, you know? I'm like, see? And I still don't think he like, I thought maybe he thought I was messing with him. Anyways, so you'll have him stay a week.
Yeah.
But we had off limits for this event, right? So
for the TTO?
Yeah, like most events. So like we found him on Friday. He might have been there since Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We've seen him like you don't like they're all different. And
right.
And that's what like there's everyone always like wants to have these like tricks or everyone wants stuff that's easy to understand. And I'm like, well, hey man, that's fishing isn't like that. It's none of us understand it hardly, right? And I was like, so I don't know. Some of them last a couple hours. Some of them will get up there and spawn. Sometimes the males let them. Sometimes the males don't let them. Sometimes they just leave. We've seen a female hanging off the side of a bed, and then eventually another male comes and gets that female, and that female goes with that other male.
Right.
Because like if you ever seen males sometimes chase females away, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing that sometimes they go get them and bring them there. And sometimes they chase them away. Well, if you chase them away enough and another one comes and gets them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just that's part of the game. We're used to it.
Cycle of life. Yeah.
But then sometimes we find 20 of them and all 20 of them are there the next day and we catch every one of them.
Yeah.
And there's no difference of any of it.
It's
right. It's not weather change came through and they blew off. They just decide to go to a different bed.
Like we understand the cold front stuff and like water moving, but like you can't that's why I just laugh at all that full moon stuff and all that.
Come on.
We have gone sight fishing for years and we've done it for days. Sometimes we used to have some lakes that were like, we're going to catch 10 pounders every day. So we go out there every day for like 10 days in a row. And when you do that every single day, there's a random Tuesday where you look up and there's like 3 times as many fish on beds that day. There's no full moon or none of that. Like we just see a giant push that day of they all come they come up. And then then one day we don't see any new ones.
Yeah.
And then the next day a whole bunch more. I mean,
so you don't think the moon matters at all?
Nope.
Really? It's the only thing that's not. It's the only thing an animal has to keep track of any semblance of time.
Never seen it. I've seen I'll put it to you this way. As much as I've seen the full moon and all this 3 days before and all this stuff, I've never actually seen it matter. I have gone out there and I've seen giant waves of fish push up on the most random.
I got you.
But that's been going on for years. So I've now I see it in brim beds and I see it a little bit on the shad spawn. Like we think fish push up shallow during full moons, but the whole spawning thing, and there's going to be some guys that are like,
right. See,
Florida's different than Texas. And the northern fish are different and tidal waters are different. Like,
right.
So I can bring up all the things that impact those spawning fish.
Yeah.
But I would put moon as one of the least factors.
Right. Absolutely. For it's scenario based, but
what's the top factors? Give me the top two or three factors.
Time of year, and they will not spawn unless the water's the right temperature. That's number one. Hands down, number one. Because they know because there's a process in which the water has to be a certain degrees for their eggs to fertilize. So I don't care what anyone says, it has to be that water temp. I'm not saying a male won't get up there and make a bed.
Yeah.
And everyone can tell me about the one fish that will come up in 58-degree water. I totally agree with that. But I'm not really. What I'm saying is that no matter what the time of the year, water temp or any of that stuff is, I can tell you the 2 weeks down here on Rayburn and Toledo and where I am, that's when the majority of fish are going to spawn no matter what. And usually the water temp has already hit a certain degree, but they just know. It's kind of like the rut of whatever.
Oh yeah.
The rut still happens. Everyone's trying to figure it out, but it's still like the same kind of 2 weeks for your part of the country.
Yeah. No, it's the same. Like you said, the males will push up there first. They're like the 1.5-year-old bucks walking around dumb steer in the woods. You know, they're feeling things, experiencing stuff, and they're like, something's happening inside my body, and they go start acting crazy.
There's always dumb ones that get up there early, and like I go for those sometimes. I mean, hey, and like Grand Lake, my big Toyota, my first fish of the first day, it was 57-degree water temp, and I catch a 5-pounder. There's a 5-pound male up there.
Yeah. So what's your magic number for when
60.
you 60? Okay. Now here's a follow-up question to that. If it hits 60, does it have to stay 60, or does it just have to get to that magic number once and then it can kind of tail back off like you deal with springtime cold fronts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
No, you want it to stay there a little bit. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. The more and more I do it, it can be 60 all day long in clouds, and it might take 5 days for them, or it can be 60 one day with sun. And that one day with sun is like 5 days of 60 in the clouds. That sun is, I mean, I look for sunny days to start the spawning process over. Like you want a sunny day / one warm night. And what I mean by warm is just not a cold night.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that can be 55, but that will help to like maintain that 60 degree.
Yeah.
But the sun is everything in my opinion.
So Todd, you're a sun guy. You're not a moon guy. I feel you, dude.
It's the heat. I mean, well, think about it. They're gonna. The water temp might be 60, but I mean, they're gonna feel. It's like why you see all them females sunny. Yep. There's a reason you see them on sunny days and not cloudy days.
Yep. This is for everybody watching, listening, everything, and it's something that everybody can probably relate to. Whether you get to fish one day a year or 7 days a week. Early in the springtime in particular, you'll have days where it's like it's only going to be a high of like 43, 44, 45 for like the afternoon high. But if you get out in your yard and you feel the sun, there's no clouds in the sky, you still
it's 60.
It's warm. You can feel it on you. You can just feel the impact of that sun. And it's interesting you say that because like it makes sense for like, you know, a female that's got to think about it. Well, she's got to know that she's going to drop her eggs and, you know, they're going to do their deal. That energy is coming from the sun to warm those eggs up, those beds up, et cetera, et cetera. So what was sorry, Pete, if you were about to say.
I have a question. Because of the stability of the sun, and I get it. And what do you differentiate? Do you think it matters? Are you fishing Florida strain bass? Are you fishing northern strain bass? Did they
both? It doesn't matter. Everywhere I travel to.
Okay.
And so here's the other thing, like, so the whole northwest, y'all know the whole northwest part of the lake warms up the quickest, right?
Right. Makes sense.
So on most lakes, they're like, where do you start? I'm like, okay, I look at a lake right here. This might be backwards on me, but for me, I'm looking at it. Northwest is this way. And then I find the creek that faces northwest. And then I go into that creek and find the bank, the offset creek that faces northwest. And then I go to that northwest bank on that creek. You can basically find the first fish of the entire lake right there. And what's funny is you can go on that. And if you want to, get out there in the morning and like go in like a creek on the very far north end or somewhere in that northwest region and look at the bank when the sun barely hits the bank. And right when the sun comes up over the trees and you can see where it hits it, like go look right there. And you will go in a creek and go, I see nothing down this bank. And there's like 4 down this bank. And it's all right where the sun hit it that morning. Now, you might see sun 2 hours later hit the entire place, but I'm telling you, where you see sun hit that right off the bat, that's where the first one's going to be. It's like automatic. It's like showing you a spotlight of where one's going to be in a creek right off the bat in the morning. And so if you don't think the sun doesn't matter, I mean, it is like guaranteed. Now, the flip side of that is on the back end of the spawn. Okay. Go to the other side of the lake, or even a big creek where they all face one way. 2 weeks later, they'll be on the other side of that creek. They won't be there for the first 2 weeks, though. I'm just telling you, like, they won't be on that part of, like, say, a big giant creek, like that south arm. They won't even be on that part yet. It'll be 2-3 weeks later. Yeah, it's all because they won't get sun.
Yeah.
That's the sun dries it, man. That's fascinating. Well, I mean, it makes perfect sense, but man, you shed light on it, no pun intended, on exactly how to do it. But there's a lot of questions I have. You're sitting on 7 pounds at 12 o'clock, and you win the tournament. Like, the commitment, like,
well,
I'm like, man, I gotta bail. I gotta save face.
Well,
I gotta catch a few. How do you stay engaged at that moment?
So we did know how to live scope them. In that event, you couldn't turn on live scope till you caught a limit, but we weren't really worried about live scoping them anyways. We had, in that event, there was you could go live scope smallmouth real easy, but we knew there's a limit with how big your size, your limit's going to be with like smallmouth. Now, don't get me wrong, you could potentially catch 25 pounds of smallmouth.
Really?
They had a tournament the week before, 20 pounds had won it. There was one 20-pound bag. And then if you see most of the guys with smallmouth that did really good, they all had 17 and 19 pounds. Granted, and that's what we kind of figured, if we had a great day, that's what we could have too. So the potential to win was more on our side. When we did all that, it was going really bad. Like, I'll be flat out honest. I made a video on it. I'm like, people don't realize, me and Russell have been doing this for so long. I thought I was really good at sight fishing, and the only guy that's ever really beaten me in sight fishing events was my fishing partner before we became fishing partners. So when we got together, I was like, that's the best sight fisherman I know. And I had beaten him. So, like, when we got together, the wealth of knowledge was pretty good. We've won a lot of sight fishing events over the years, a lot. And the ones we didn't win, we made like a top 3. Like, and our bad day was a top 5. After the week before of doing horrible, and we've won, like, we've had a 30-pound bags on Texoma, and I don't think anyone's ever had that before. And that's not even a lake. I live 4.5 hours from there. We had 3 fish. We had one of them we had just rolled by and accidentally just caught. I looked down there. I'm like, hey, there's a fish. I caught it. That wasn't one of our even fish. We'd stopped on like 20 of our planned fish to go to, and like they're either not there, people in the way, all these bad things. So of the 20 we'd already gone to, we had caught 2 of them, and then one of them was the small one. We went to another place, caught our third one, and I said, hey, I got one in the backpack here. It's dirty. I think it's an okay fish. We fished for it for 20 minutes. We caught it. It wasn't even a keeper. So I looked at him and I was like, I just made you fish for 20 minutes for a non-keeper. I'm sorry, we had 4 at that time. We roll out of that place down this bank. We had already been down the bank. We'd already been down the bank because we had to go down the bank to get to where we were going. We'd probably seen 7 boats go down the bank. I've been down the bank in practice. We're coming out of the bank on high, going down the bank. We're pretty much probably the 2 most level-headed people you'll ever see on the water. We don't get upset. If we lose or catch a 10-pounder, there's usually no emotion. We talk constantly. We weren't speaking, not because we were mad at each other. We were like contemplating if we knew how to fish anymore. Have we gotten too old for this? Is this going to be the new way? And like, look, a lot of this has to do with scoping too. It's like this new transition of scoping and young guys. And we're sitting there going, like, this is unreal how this is unfolding for 2 weeks in a row. Like, we can understand some fish roll on you and leave. Like, that happens every once in a while. But this is like next level. We thought we were even going to do better in this one than the last one. And yeah, we're pretty much just in a fog going down the bank. And he just kind of looks over and he's like, hey, there's a 6-pounder. And I'm like looking and I'm going, where? Like, I don't see it. And there was a shade there, just one little patch of shade about 5 feet big. And I'm like, in that shade, I'm like, oh, I didn't even look in the shade. I couldn't even see. And I'm like, well, he's like, well, there's one right there too, like a 3.5. And it's just looking at us. And we turn back around and we go by there again. And I'm looking. And both of us will say, he will probably be like, man, Todd can really see him. And I'm always like, man, Russell can really see him. And Russell's like, you see it? I'm like, nope, I don't see it. I don't see anything. He's like, it's right there. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't know what to tell you. It's in the shade. But sometimes a foot of glare is different for the guy 2 feet over, whatever.
Right.
So I was like, whatever. He knows what he's doing. So I turn around. I'm like, you see him? I'm like, oh yeah, there he is. I'm like, well, that's weird. And so I was like, well, I'm going to fish for this one over here. And so I set up in between these two fish. I don't want to get into how we fish, but we usually are like side by side fishing for fish, and we're just watching and doing stuff, and we do our own process. We were so whatever that I just set up in the middle and I fished for this one and he fished for those two. And it's probably the first time in my entire life of fishing with him after 15 years that I never even went back there and threw anywhere where he was. He never threw where I was. We didn't speak. And I was like, is it even on a bed? He's like, no, it's not on a bed. It's just swimming around out here, And I look over there and I would see it. And I was like, oh, I see it like big old blob out there swimming around. And I was like, whatever. And I said, is the male there? He's like, yeah, I finally see the male now too. And the only thing I asked him after about 10 minutes, I was like, are you going to catch that male if it bites? And normally we'd be like, nah, we decide on what there's a whole big process into whether we would or we wouldn't.
Right.
And normally I'd be like wanting to see that process of what's going on to be like, hey, we definitely do or definitely not. And he said, at this point in time, I could care less. And I was like, all right. Because normally we're like really adamant about what we want to do, like our decision making. And he was like, I don't even care whatever bites I'm setting the hook on. I was like, all right.
Right. You need some weight.
But people don't realize like we will shake off an 8-pounder all day long to catch a 10. Like I'm just telling you, because if that's the only way to do it. So, but at this point, I'm like, whatever. So he sets the hook, eventually catches one. I run to the back. He's already pissed off because he's reeling it in. He's like, it's a small one. He gets it in. It's a 4-pounder. So it's by far our biggest fish. It's not even close. And then like I get mine to bite one time. 20 minutes later, he catches it. And I'm like, yeah, it's almost a 7-pounder. So we catch that one. And like things have changed now, right? Like now it's like wherever we were just at has totally changed our process. We were steadily, we were not going to do anything but sight fish from there on. We weren't going to like go fishing. That was never, you asked me that earlier. Was that like, were you ever thinking about stopping? No. I did have a fish on scope that I could see on scope and somewhat see a little bit. And I was like, well, let's go over there. And we ended up going to this other fish it was garden fry. I caught it. It was a 5.5. And then we got this other one that was on a bed. It was a 4.
That was a male?
Yeah.
So it was a 5.5-pound male garden fry.
Yeah. And
you got growing big down there. Holy shit. It's like,
yeah. So, but that one was what those ones that are garden fry. We saved it to the end because I'm like, I don't really count on those because where it was at was not on the bank. And I was like, man, those typically you'll never see again.
Right.
But it was there. So we caught that one, the next one. And there was one fish that I had debated on starting on because it was like a 1 flipper. I knew right where to catch it. But it was all the way on the other side of the lake. And I'm like, and it was funny, the 4-pounder I'd caught right before that, where we had to idle to and do all these things to get back in time, because it's like it was like 155 when we started fishing for it. I said, hey, at 210, just to even go see if this one's there, by the time we run across, like down the lake, idle, come out, we're gonna have 5 minutes to fish for it. And so we made it. I'm like, no matter what happens, we gotta leave at 210. At 208, I catch it. We run all the way up the lake. I was like, hey, look, man, I'm gonna catch this fish, but man, I saw two people looking, like literally in this 25-yard section. I saw two people yesterday looking there, and this fish is just easy. We roll up in there at like the last of the day, and we roll right to it. And there, I'm like, hey, look, there it is. And it took about 3 or 4 minutes. I catch it, and it was another 4-pounder.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show, like, just you mentioned earlier the angles, the sun angle, like all those little factors that go into it. Like, yeah, at that moment, it's like, okay, it's so easy to see, like right now, but like if the conditions change 15 minutes later and like a few things happen, it goes from like super easy, and I don't know how wide open this one was, but like it can change fast. You know what I mean?
Everything you said is 1,000,000% right. And it's like you can have a passing cloud come over for 20 seconds and miss the entire tournament of a giant right there. Or like when we pulled up in there, the day before I said, I don't know if anyone can see it. She's not easy. She's not on the bed. I never saw her when I fished for her for 30 minutes and couldn't catch her.
Yeah.
Because I could only see her when she did this weird little circle. So I'm guessing where she's at. Well, everywhere I saw her was here, but I finally flipped over here one time on the side of this rock that I never saw her at, and she bit back-to-back casts. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I know where, but you would never see her there. Well, when we pulled up there the next day, I could see everything. I was like, oh my gosh, like there she is. And Russ was like, well, what about this one underneath this like deal? I'm like, oh, I couldn't see 6 inches underneath that walkway yesterday. And now you can see this fish swimming around everywhere. So, I mean, it's really crazy how a day can make, I'm talking about 4 or 5 times the clarity of just for all kind of certain situations.
So, okay. So I wanted to ask you something about like obviously when the water's crystal clear and it's slick, it obviously makes fishing for a fish on a bed a lot easier. You could see into their soul pretty much, when you could see them in the eyes. When things change and you either have, a more of a wind chop on the water, water clarity has changed, just dirtier water in general, and you can see the fish, but you can't see the fish like looking into its soul type of like, but you can still see it. You can still see its movements, its body posture. It's there. How do you like? What are some visual cues you try to get from the fish when you can't completely make out everything that's on the bed?
The only thing I'll say is this: I don't think most people understand how much we do it.
Right.
Well, I'm explaining this. So, like, I have a theory, not a theory. There's some arguments out there that, like, you always hear these arguments about, like, professional fishermen, and then there's some guy from some local lake somewhere that's like, that guy's as good as those guys, right? You hear those people say that all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
They have a small little point, and here's my point: the elite guys are better, okay? In the fact of they know more, they travel around. They're better at being able to travel to new waters and do all kinds of things, every situation better. What they're not better at, some of them were very good at like certain things. But what they're not better at, most of them, is like one technique. So if you go down in Florida and some guy's flipping, and he flips 8 months out of the year and wins, like catches giant bags, you can't tell me that 90% of the guys on the elites are better than that guy at flipping. Like matted, thick stuff. Like there's a reason, because they don't do it. Yeah. Like you get good because you do something more than everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I can be a phenomenal fisherman, but like go smallmouth fishing, and I might do good in a smallmouth event, but I'm not better than those guys fishing for smallmouth, 9 months out of the year. I'm just not better at. I will never be better at them.
Right.
No matter, like, I would have to live up there and do it. And so, there's a reason guys were good at frogging, flipping. There's a reason guys are, some of the best crankbait fishermen ever came from Kentucky Lake. Haynes was one of them. I mean, so it's hard to get better at those guys. Well, we live down here sight fishing. Most of the best sight fishermen come from Florida, Texas, and California. It's because most of our lakes are clear. We can see, like, clear, they start spawning, like in Florida, they start spawning in November. Our spawning season lasts a lot longer, right? The northern lakes, they usually spawn quicker. Yeah. And so we just did it for every day for 12 hours a day for 2 months. Yeah. Like, I don't fish any other way except sight fish in the springtime.
Right.
And so what I'd say to what you asked me is that, like, when you do something for so long, you kind of don't have to see, like, I wanted the days to learn is what you just asked. When it's perfectly dead calm and clear, that's where I learned everything. I mean, I learned it to a T. Then you start taking a little bit of those things away from me. Like, a little bit of sight here, a little bit of feel here. I still know I've seen every situation happen on how fish move and do and this and that, where I don't need it to be perfect anymore.
You can kind of predict.
And I can kind of see, like, half the time there's times where we only see like a sliver of a tail, or I see something in the water, but I couldn't tell you what's the head or the tail of the fish. But I can kind of mess around and do some things, and like I can see like 75% of what I need to see. But I've seen the 100% for so long that I can kind of understand what I need to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of those are still, it might take us an hour to catch it, where it would have taken me 10 minutes if I could see it.
Right.
But we can still, for not all the time, but like, we can usually get it to happen. So like, we catch a lot of our fish blind fishing. Like, where we saw it the day before, it could be in the dark and we'll catch it.
Right.
I mean, because you kind of know everything you're supposed to do, and you're just doing that process, even though you can't see it.
Yeah. Well, you've enlightened. I mean, you explained that really well, Todd, and I get it. You become good at what you do a lot, and you guys do that a lot.
Well, now listen, the one that Russell caught, we cut so. Sight fishing or bed fishing, it's all the same to me. I don't really care what you call it. We talk to a lot of good fishermen. They're like, they start talking about like, what do you throw on beds and this and that, and we just kind of laugh about all that stuff because me and him throw the same two baits. We've thrown the same two baits our entire lives. And guys were like, well, man, I like to throw this. I'm like, they'll bring up a jerk bait or this. I'm like, man, you couldn't throw a jerk bait on like 99% of the sight fish we saw this year. Like, those are fish on beds that are stupid, right? And like, everyone's like, oh man, the fish that like look at you on a bed as you go across them, and they never move. I'm like, yeah, those are fish we don't even count on in tournaments. Like, some guy's gonna catch those. We're catching one, like the ones that Russell caught if he couldn't have seen that fish, 0% catch. He will never catch that fish. 0%. I mean, that fish is swimming around. That fish he never caught that fish on the bed. Right. Now, there's still ways to catch it, but he never, like, half our fish we never, like the big one I shook off the week before, it was on a rock. There was a male on top of a rock, and the rock was like 7 to 8 foot tall rock. And that fish was like swimming around over here, like around the rock, and so I caught it way off the rock.
The female.
Yeah. So like most of the females we catch aren't really on bed, or depending on what lake you go to, this lake's one of them. We rarely ever catch the female on. I don't know why that is. I have theories about why that is. Like,
female swimming over 7 feet of water.
Oh yeah.
And you'll still pitch a rage bug at them.
Yeah.
You swim it, or like I'm just trying to. They catch it.
It went down to the bottom.
Oh, they follow it to the bottom.
Sometimes. The first 30 minutes it didn't.
Until the one time it did. Did you have to
Well,
land the bait on the rock where the male
there was
was?
a process that I had to go through for it to happen. But that one process for that one fish was different. It took me 30 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah.
For that one fish. That's why I didn't mess with Russell. Russell had his process. Like, I knew what he was doing. He was just getting it to happen.
Right.
And it's going to take 30 minutes to an hour. We also knew, though, that one fish was big bass, and that we win the tournament with that fish. So, and someone just put on there like, hey, you're giving too much away. I'm not. I could talk about this for 5 hours, and to be honest with you, you're gonna love this, Riz. I can tell you everything, and it actually means nothing because I told all this to you about the hybrid hunter, and it meant nothing to him until he saw it happen to him. Does that make so? Unless you're like watching all this happen for 20 years, kind of what I'm saying is interesting, but it doesn't really matter until you go do it.
Right.
So I mean,
right.
You just and guess what? Is what I was thinking about earlier. It's what we do. We had zero problem. We don't give up on it because that's what we do. So like I look at some of these ways people fish. I'm like, look, man, a guy who goes out there and catches 35 pounds on a glide bait can tell you everything there is to know about a glide bait. And you get out there in a tournament and it's 12 o'clock and you have zero fish on a glide bait. Like, it don't even bother that guy. But you're sitting there going, what am I doing with my life? This was the dumbest decision ever. And you switch. Well, that happens with a lot of those ways to win tournaments. And there's some of those things I can't do. Like, I can't go throw a glide bait like that. Like, I'm going to give up.
All right.
No doubt. But sight fishing, no. I mean, we won too many like this to where, and I like it. Like, I love doing it. Like, it never gets old.
Yeah. That's a big deal. You like it. And that keeps at it, and that's helped you so much. And I had a question. You guys are doing this together. I'm just curious. You described a scenario where you had multiple fish to fish for, and that's awesome. How do you guys handle that in a team situation where you got one fish, and you both throw at it? One coach threw it? Or
I don't like two people throwing at it. Although I've fished with him enough that we're good. I don't like 99% of the time. I don't like two people throwing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Depending on the fish, we always say that like we have so many coiners fish individual events with us while we're sight fishing, and of course there's two types of coiners. There's the types that sit down in the bottom of the boat and pout. Yeah. And then there's the other coiners that absolutely crush them with us. And I can tell you within 5 minutes, and I'm talking about leading the tournament while we're sight fishing. And I'm like, hey, and I can tell the day before the tournament, I'm like, hey, I'm going sight fishing. He's like, oh, cool. But that guy crushes them every time with me. He gets it. He understands it. Yeah. He sits out in the back of the boat and catches them. Because I'm like, dude, I'm around him. Like, I promise you I'm around him. Then the other guy pouts, doesn't do what he's supposed to do, and never catches a fish. And it's one or the other. And so we always tell ourselves like, hey, we should just like fish, but it never happens. Every once in a while, one of us will catch one while the other one's doing it. But most of the time, every once in a while, we do need two people to catch them. It speeds up the process.
Okay. So,
but there's never someone's going to be like, man, he's vague. Because I'm thinking about the thousands of situations, and every one of them, all 1,000 of them, are 1,000 different situations of why we did what we did, or why we needed two people, or like usually it's two people because the freaking fish we're trying to catch is going 20 yards down the bank and doing all this stuff, and we're trying to like. It helps to have two people on a fish like that. If it's just sitting in a bed, it's not a big deal.
So one guy targets that fish, and the other guy, bombing around the boat as he can in the fish, like stick baits or something to keep busy or try to generate a fish while the other guy's sight fishing.
No, I mean, we're like I said, there's a process to like getting that fish to hone in.
Yeah. Right.
So we're trying to get that process to get that fish more down to a specific. Sometimes it's not a spot. Sometimes it's an area. But yeah, I mean, sometimes we can trick it into biting 20 feet away. But like like I said in that video, there's only two reasons a fish is doing all that. One, because it's scared of the boat or scared of the bait. So, I mean, a lot of times we're having to trick it into going into another bait. And I mean, there's a lot.
Right.
So, all right, you baits aren't that key, but you use the same two baits. What are the two baits?
Well, I'm saying there's two, but like I throw a bait, he throws a bait. For me, it's a rage bug.
Okay.
100% of the time, but it's all because I throw a rage bug it fits a 5/0 haymaker owner hook perfectly. It's thin. It doesn't have a bunch of appendages. So like it has two little, I don't want a claw or anything with crawls on it because they can pick up a crawl easier. They can pick up the side of, not the rage bug tail. I can't tell you how many of them, a 7-pounder will pick up a rage bug that's this big, and the little arm that's connected to it, it looks like it's about 1/4 of an inch long. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times they pick up that, swim off with it, you set the hook, and that's gone. Like I can see them. So I don't care how big the fish is. So I want less of those on there, right? Most all those baits have something like that on there. But it's thin, and 99% of the time we're not worried about catching the fish. We're worried about landing the fish. So our entire setup is based on landing the fish, not getting it to bite. We're going to get it to, like, the biting is not, if they bite it or don't bite it, we haven't messed anything up. Once we hook that fish, that's the entire tournament. So it's like, we want a bait that's thin, the hook penetrates through, our rod's not like line. Like everything is about landing the fish because we already know in our heads, like the weight, right? I mean, we go into that tournament going, here's the weight we have found, and it's enough to win a tournament. We just got to execute.
Right.
So there's a lot of baits out there. Like, you will never see us throw a jig on a fish. Jig's not exactly like great for landing, you know what I'm saying? Like Texas,
too many.
Yeah, like Texas rig, freaking some good line. I mean, you're pretty much, that's about as good as you're ever going to get.
Yeah. I'd agree.
How about the like we see two of the elite guys that are stellar at it, the Drews, doing the rod banging, the radical techniques to help them. Looks like it helps them get that fish to bite. Are you doing any of that stuff? What do you think of that?
None. Are you doing nothing, or are you not going to talk about it?
I don't do any of that. I'm just going to leave that as a no comment.
Okay.
Are you no?
Here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll say. You remember when I did Bash U and I talked about I'm not trying to get a fish to eat my bait. I'm trying to make it bite my bait because the action my bait is doing aggressively towards a fish. If it's standing in one thing and you're trying to entice that, like, I don't think those are hard fish to catch. I mean, a fish is on a bed. Yep. They're throwing and doing that while your bait is on the bed. Those fish to me are fairly easy. And like, I think you can do other things to make that move along faster than just shaking it.
Gotcha.
Because I could shake it in front of 1,000 fish and they just sit there and just look at it. And that's not really the process that I'm trying to accomplish while that's going on. Like I said, there's a reason that fish doesn't bite your bait the first time you throw in there, because you haven't messed with it long enough and done certain things. So like,
right.
That's not messing with the fish. That's like hoping it's going to bite. Gotcha. And I'm not really hoping it's going to bite. I'm doing things to make that fish bite because of the things I'm doing. So I like all I know is this is like, I don't consider those the hard ones. Those aren't the ones that win tournaments.
Gotcha.
And so you might be seeing them catch one of those fish. What you're probably not seeing is them catch some of the other ones. Like Drew Benton and some of them guys are freaking good. I guarantee Drew, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'll tell you this. This is the funny one. Drew Benton on, where was that last? Were they on Hartwell last? Murray.
Murray, yeah.
I don't know this to be true. This is just speculation. I don't watch much elite stuff, like I'm fishing and stuff and all that stuff. So I happened to turn it on, and Drew Benton was on one of those points. He was not sight fishing for a fish. Okay, it wasn't on a bed, and he was looking up on this point, and he admits, like, this is I'm not verbatim, but close. He goes, "There's two giants up there, like 6-pounders." I'm sure some people remember him saying this. He's like, "There's two big ones up there." And he goes, "I don't have a lot of familiarity with like doing this." Like they're not on beds, but he was like, and he's looking up there at him, and he's the sight fisherman. He's like me, like I know Drew a little bit, right? And he's like, you can't walk away from 6-pounders you're staring at. And he knows it's Murray, and he knows that everyone says you can't catch those fish you can see. But he's like, man, he goes, I don't know if I'm doing, he even said, he's like, I don't even know if I should be doing this, if I can even catch these fish. But I know his mentality, and it's like mine. It's like, yeah, but they're there. If I catch one, dude, that's my entire day, because I'll go catch other fish. Mm-hmm. Then Davey Height goes, I don't really want to be the bearer of bad news or whatever. So he's like, he ain't ever catching those fish. Right? So I look at the standings later, and Drew's got a bag, and he had like big bass, or he caught like a 6 something. And I'm thinking and I asked, I talked to one of my buddies, and I said, he goes, oh yeah, Drew was like on this point. Like, so he didn't see that part. He saw later on. He said, yeah, I watched Drew catch one off this point, kind of like, looked like he was looking at one. And I was sitting there going, because like Height was like, no one catches fish like that. Like you can't, it's known. But I was sitting there like, Drew's probably one of the best sight fishermen. And it doesn't matter he's on a bed. He's just seen fish react over time. And Drew's probably caught a ton of fish,
right,
that aren't sitting on the bed, like doing probably what we do. And so he just used all those things that he had probably to catch one. I don't know if he did, but I'm like 99% sure he probably caught one of those that everyone else is like, you can't do that. And my thing about that is like, I see them do some of that other stuff. We don't do it. A lot of different things work in sight fishing. My whole goal is how can I catch it fast enough so I can spend enough time on something else as well.
Yeah.
So, a lot of it works for him, but no, we don't do any of that. I'm not saying I won't do all that, but I don't do all that other stuff.
Is bullying fish part of your process? Like impacting them, hitting them?
Yeah, all that. Some of them you can hit, some of them you can't hit. Some of them you got to be gentle. Some of them you got to like be sneaky on. Like some of them you don't even like. Some of them you never want to touch. Some of them you got to touch them 1,000 times, and you're going to ask me which way.
Wait a second.
But you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
What ones don't you want to touch? What's the clue?
The fish that tell you that every fish. Right. Listen, every single thing. The fish reacts to everything you do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. What does that mean? Your boat, your flip, before it ever, the bait, like some fish, you can land on their head and it falls on their head and they could care less. Another one, it's 5 feet before it even hits the water and they take off. Well, so that tells you something, right? That it's scared of even your flip. You can land one on the bank and it hit a rock and they will take off. You can land one and it'll land on the water and they run over there to eat it.
Yeah.
So everything has its own, they have their own reaction to everything you do. So all I'm doing is I'm going to give it 1,000 reactions and figure out which ones it likes and doesn't like and which ones it reacts to. And when it does that, I'm going to either do that more or less.
Gotcha.
And so I always tell everyone there's no answer. It's just I'm reading the fish.
Right.
Drew Benton, I promise you, kept figuring. He said, I remember him saying, he goes, they're showing interest in the bait. So he was figuring out why that was.
Right.
And it was when he moved, I guarantee you it was this. It was where the fish were, when he moved the bait, how far away he moved the bait, where the fish was when that happened. Could he do it from 30 feet away and that fish react? Or was he waiting it to happen 2 feet away and that fish react? Like that's going to matter. Right? I'm just telling you. And so like it mattered probably, was it 3 foot closer to the bank? Was it 3 foot further away from where that spot was to where that fish reacts, even on a fish not on a bed? I'm telling you, all that's going to matter in that stuff. So he was figuring that out. The more times it reacted to his bait and showed interest, he was going to do that process more.
Right. Okay.
And it could be every time that fish on that point goes to the other side of the point and he throws on the top side of that point and it came back, he might have shook it there and it just kept going. He's like, oh, don't throw there anymore. And he could have thrown on the side of the point when that fish came to that side of the point. It looked there. It could have been deeper. It could have been when there was more fish around. It's just like fishing. You're just picking up clues and then trying to like imitate those same clues or take those same clues and imitate that same thing and then repeat that over and over again. And then it works.
It's advanced. I get it. The ones that you throw on or hits a rock and it splits. What's your
what's it scared of?
I'm out of here. No catch fish.
No. They're all catchable.
Okay.
The only ones that aren't catchable are the ones that leave.
Right. If they leave and do you wait for them to come back? Do you give them a period of time?
No. If it comes back, it didn't leave.
Okay. Okay. Well,
The
what
ones
if
that are uncatchable are the ones that leave, and we mean leave as in they're not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, what if it takes do you wait around 5 minutes to see if it comes back?
How big is it?
How big is it? Yeah. All right.
Is it a 10-pounder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care how long it takes to come back, as long as it comes back.
Yep.
And I say that because we fished for fish for an hour and they leave and never came back.
Yep.
Now, some things might have happened along the way, like try to figure out too. We've seen fish and go, oh, that fish has been caught too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like that fish has been caught. It was caught the day before. It was lost that day. Like we can tell fish that have been caught, they act a certain way too. So, like I said, I mean, someone goes, I said too much. I didn't say too much. Like I said, all of this is, I only said too much to the guys that know what I'm saying. And for those guys, they understand it. But to someone else, it means nothing. Like it's just words. I'm just spouting out nonsense.
Yeah, and Steve,
right?
he's getting a little overwhelmed with a lot of the dialogue. So somebody that's new to this or getting overwhelmed, what's the best advice to get them out on the water and say, here's where you start?
Don't overcomplicate this thing. Go get a Texas rig. Like I said, you can throw whatever you want to throw. Don't listen to all that. Carry one bait. One. I tell everyone this. Don't bring all that stupid stuff you've heard. Don't bring out the the weightless this and the drop shot here. I'm just telling you, and people are going to argue, but you'll understand why when I say this. Texas rig, I throw a rage bug. It's simple. It's easy. You can throw it anywhere. I can throw it on every single bedfish in the country, no matter where it's at. I say that because some guy's going to be going, oh, I like to throw this stuff. And then some guy in Florida is like, you can't throw that there. I'm surrounded by grass and stuff. Like, I have to throw something Texas rig and get something out. Right? Some guy who's only used to like catching sight fish out on a open flats with nothing around can throw a drop shot. But that's when I say that, pick one bait, and what you start to realize, and this is what happens with everyone, because everyone's like, hey, do you switch baits? I'm like, we switch baits at last resort only because it's last resort. But when you give people the option, right, then they start moving around and they think that matters. And then they start thinking that what you're throwing matters than what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that 99% of it is what you're doing, not what you're throwing.
Right. Finding them and then triggering them to bite.
So what you're doing is way more important than everything else. I'm not saying a change of a bait won't work, but then you start to think that matters more, and you start to do that more, and then you stop doing what you should be doing, which is figuring out how to catch them. So I would say, go find the dumbest one. I'm being dead serious. Go find the one on the bed that like you can almost run into it and fish for it. And what I got really good at and what I looked at it was this. When I had these lakes I practiced on, and there's literally an 8-pounder sitting right next to me that's a 1 flipper. And I could care less about it. And I'm literally fishing for a 2-pounder that I sit on for 4 hours. And it's 2 pounds. I'm looking at an 8-pounder, I could care less. And I fish for that 2-pounder. And I fish for more of those than I ever did that 8-pounder that bites me. When I'm just goofing around. I mean, you got to realize that I could go catch 40 in a day.
You're putting yourself on fish. Yeah. You're putting yourself in
Yeah, if I could catch that 2-pounder.
Yeah.
In a tournament, it ain't going to be a 2-pounder. It's going to be the 8-pounder that no one else could catch. And that's going to be the one that wins us the tournament. So I eventually grew into like, how can I catch the hardest fish I possibly could catch? And plus it was like this, it was me just being hard-headed of going, like, I'm not leaving. And for hours I'd spend. And then when I figured it out, you asked me, how do you go at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock with 450? Man, my confidence level after catching that one just thinks I can catch all of them. And I've done that 100 times on the hardest one I've ever seen before. And every time I catch it, I'm like, wow, I caught that thing. And then when the tournament comes around and everyone's like, man, they were hard, this happened. I'm like, yeah, man, I've seen the hardest ones. I've done like this. So this is like normal to me. Like, I'm not stressed out about this fish or like doing it. Like, a lot of guys like, how long do you stay on fish? And I'm like, well, once again, size of them matters in a tournament. But if, I'll stay as long as I need to. But I mean, in a tournament, yeah, is a 3-pounder worth staying an hour when you think you can find a 3.5-pounder in 10 minutes? No. But for us, I can promise you that 6-pounder, we were never leaving the rest of the day. I think it was almost 7. We were never leaving. Ever. Because we weren't going to find another one. And we're like, we catch that one, we have a chance to win the event. We caught that one, and then it started happening.
What's the longest? Tell me that. What's the longest you've ever committed, executed on a fish, or didn't execute on a fish?
No, we've had some that didn't. The ones that I'd say we didn't, and I got to think about this for a little bit. There were obstacles some things either happened, obstacles in our way. And what I mean by that is like sometimes, like I remember we had one this year that we're pretty much sure it got caught too. But like there was a bush there. There were things where it would swim around. We were like having to like get the fish out of all this junk area, like flip into it to like scare it out to this one place to where we would have one cast to make something happen. And then once it left, it would spend 5 more minutes getting that to happen again, to where she would come out in the bed. And the obstacles of all that were like, okay, no one caught it. Multiple people saw it that day. And it was like, well, it's taking too long for all that to happen once. If the fish was wide open, I think we would have caught it pretty quick. But and we couldn't see where it was going in this stuff. So we were blind flipping for like 5 minutes, hoping we accidentally landed near it where it would scare it to swim back out.
Okay.
So there's either obstacles in the way like that one, where it's like, that, and the 6-pounder wasn't going to win us the event. It's Ray Roberts or big ones. But they either leave and it takes them too long to come back. So they like leave, you get one cast and they're gone for 5 or 10 minutes. Those happen, stuff like that. Or like things get in like but it's rarely ever like we're seeing the fish and it's there. I can't tell you that we've spent, I doubt we've ever spent 2 hours on a fish. I don't know if we've ever done that. I'm trying to think of every giant we've ever caught. We caught a 12 one time. That took a long time, but a lot of that was based on like the wind and like we couldn't see what was going on. And so, we weren't leaving that one either. I mean, we caught her. But, I mean, the bigger they are, the longer we'll stay. I can't really remember too many giants that we left that we didn't catch that were like going to win the event. I don't remember hardly anything like that.
Yeah, I've heard some stories of 3 and 4 hour commitments, 5-hour commitments.
No, never like that. We've never. I don't think we've ever spent over 2 hours. And I would say the only reason we left one of those, probably because we stopped seeing it as much, or it wasn't like we knew we had to see it to catch it. And maybe it got windy and like we just can't see anymore. Like sometimes you need to see the fish to catch it, no doubt. But I would say 2 hours, man. If we went 2 hours on a fish, it's going to be a giant. It's going to be the winning fish. I don't really remember too many like that.
Yeah, that's a big commitment, man. But it's awesome. You enjoy it. I love the advice you gave. Keep it simple. Take one bait, get out there and give this a go. First step, I want to invite you guys to go check out Todd's seminar at Bass University. Link to that first. All the details, a lot of the details we talked about here and more are at your fingertips there. So get out there and give it a go and have some fun with it. I think a lot of people get frustrated quick, but be patient and keep it simple, man. That's great advice. So I appreciate you sharing it with us. And it's cool that you were able to, take on the scopers. Would you say the scopers were catching post-spawn or pre-spawn fish that finished second, third, and fourth in your tournament?
No, probably mainly post. So we had been catching spawners up there too the week before and stuff, the smallmouth. I'm sure some of them were still. I mean, we caught. I think I caught a smallmouth. Like I saw one. I had one bite the day before. It was kind of a weird one. I think it was a post spawner. It might have been garden fry. Or I shook one off like a 4-pounder. We actually didn't even go fish for that thing. I would say probably most of them were post spawn from what we had seen. There were still definitely some on beds, so they probably could have caught some of those. But yeah, I think, and it's hard to tell. I mean, I don't know what all of them are doing, but I would say a lot of them were spawners. I think you were going to catch a mix of both. They were still kind of in the same. You could catch a spawner on one cast and then a post spawner and just turn your scope somewhere else and catch one because they're still on the same rocks and things. Yeah. But I mean, it was like I said, I mean, those guys are just hard to beat. We know them. We had to go fish against them this past weekend. They're tough and they don't miss very much. That's the thing. Like, they're not missing on these events. Like, they don't have bad events. Their bad event is still a check.
Right.
They're really good scopers. Like some of these young guys I know, like we got a kid named Andrew Rickman who's down here tearing it up. Hut Reeves is down there, like Cade Rudiger. Like they're all in the, like, I think that was like second, third. Like they were all right there, and like they've been beating everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, it's awesome stuff. And the scopers are killing it, no doubt. It's a very effective technique. Great to see that you're so good winning doing it. I enjoy the heck out, and I have trouble doing it in tournaments, Todd. I'm not skilled. I post or pre-spawn in tournaments because you guys know too much and can get those tricky ones to go a lot better than I ever could. So but I love trying it. I love doing it, man. It's a lot of fun. So,
well, I kind of view it like that scope and stuff too, is that we still have to we still have to scope. Scoping has to come a certain way for us in the sense of like every week that goes by, we do more and more of it and we trust it more. And like I said, we've done really good with it. I mean, we did pretty good this past weekend with it. And we've been doing it for 3 or 4 years, but those guys, like I will say, we're almost there to where it doesn't really matter. If we've caught 0 fish at 1 o'clock scoping, we'll probably still scope if that's the way to win. They have 0 problem doing it. Like it doesn't even like bother them of how the day starts off. Kind of like us and certain things that we do. Like you said, you said, hey, 2 hours is a lot of commitment on a fish. We didn't have really anything at 12 o'clock. If we'd have set on a 10-pounder for 4 hours that morning, it was worth it. You know, like it wouldn't have been that big of a deal because we're like, well, we can go catch 4 other ones if we have to real quick, sight fishing. So I think those scopers are like that too. And we're trying to get that confidence of going, hey, dude, we're going to have some bad events doing this, but we got to stick with it to get better at it.
Yeah.
You just got to take your lumps. I mean, you're going to get beat doing it against some of those guys. I mean, but we know that.
Yeah. It's the same thing. You know, you become good at what you do a lot. And those guys, especially the youngsters, we're seeing it, man. It's every day. It's every day they're fishing. And that's helping separate these guys. And it's really hard to do, especially the high school and college kids, man. They're on that water daily.
We got like one of the best flip grass flippers in the country is Tim Renaud. And he gets like, so you asked me like, if we go to a lake and it's 3 days and we can sight fish, we spend 3 days. We're not like, we laugh all the time. We're going down the bank and some guy sees us going down the bank. They just go up there and start looking for like 5 minutes. It happens everywhere we go, and it's just hilarious. And they're like, "What'd you do today?" I'm like, "I sight fished for 12 hours." "What'd you do yesterday?" "I sight fished for 12 hours." "Did you see anything?" "I saw 2 yesterday." Right? And then I saw, and so Tim Renaud goes around flipping, and like he'll go flip for 8 days in a row, 12 hours. It doesn't matter to him. And then all of a sudden you look up and he's like, "What'd you have?" 31, day 1. And he caught them all flipping. And I'm like, "Was it good?" He's like, "I had 1 fish at 12 o'clock, but then I ran into him." And it's like, it didn't even bother him because that's what he does. And that's why he's so good. And then because he's been there so long in practice to where 6 hours without a bite doesn't bother him because he knows if he runs into him, it's over with. And you can say you can do that, but you can't. It's impossible to do that without you doing that 1,000 days in practice to where you're like, it's gonna, like, this is what we do. It's that's a flipper's mentality. And man, people can say they have that. There's only a couple guys in the country that can do that.
That's a fact. Fish to your strengths. That's what I'm hearing. That's how you get these W's, guys. And your strength is definitely the sight fishing deal and the hybrid hunter. I promise you, Todd, everybody's catching them on it, but me. I know Kevin Long's waiting. I'm going to make my call to you pretty soon, especially when these fish go post.
Listen, the hybrid hunter is the same thing. I go to a lake with wherever, and like I don't have other crankbaits or chatterbaits tied on. I have that on. If I go for 3 hours without a bite, if you went 3 hours without a bite with a hybrid hunter, what would you think?
I'm bailing. It's not a dominant pattern.
No. See, that's not the way it's the dominant pattern. I just haven't landed on them yet.
Yeah.
See,
yep.
So me without 3 bites isn't that they're not biting it. I just haven't gotten around them yet. Same thing with the guy flipping. Timber knows, like, it's not that they're not biting my bait. I haven't ran into them yet. So when I go to these lakes and I throw the hybrid hunter around, everyone's like, oh, I'm not getting bit. I'm like, well, you probably threw it for 15 minutes. Whereas I threw it for 3 hours, and then when I found them, it was easy, and then it's no big deal. So, like, everyone has flipping boat docks. Flipping boat docks for 3 hours doesn't mean they're not biting on boat docks. You just haven't gotten on the right boat docks yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just haven't. I know they're going to bite it. I just haven't gotten around them yet.
Yeah. Good advice. Yep. And it's well said. So expect my call. And I appreciate you being with us, Todd. And thanks, thanks for the work that you do at Bass U and sharing all this great information. And good luck. I hope you get to keep sight fishing through July this year.
Yeah, I doubt that. I'll be honest with you, that might have been the last one. We got this weekend off for Memorial Day, and so now it's like one more week. Yeah, I think we might be able to catch one, but I doubt you can win one for the rest of the year doing it.
Dude, what a way to end the season with a W for 30 G's, man. Good job.
Right.
And we'll catch up with you real soon.
All right.
Thanks, Todd.
See y'all.
Everybody. Such a wealth of knowledge. It is overwhelming, Riz.
Dude, I guess it's all about like how people's brains are wired. Because like I guess for some people that's overwhelming, but like the way Todd describes things, I get it. Like it makes sense. Like he makes it make sense. Although I didn't pick up the hybrid hunter soon enough. I can get like the path that he's going down on the logics as to why and the theory behind it. Like,
yeah, it's falling, and I'm going to be so mad because I did it with the Senko, I did it with the chatterbait, I did it with the hybrid hunter. Now I've had them for 3 years, so yeah, it is what it is, guys. But it's awesome stuff. We're gonna talk some more about the Upper Chesapeake, some fishing, some grass fishing that's going on up here. We got the sub of the week. We'll be right back after this.
Oh, yep.
Here we go. We're off the clock to clock more fish, to fill our live wells and empty our coolers, because there's more to explore. The latest Humminbird fish finders work fast, see clearly, and know all the best spots. They fish even smarter paired with the Minn Kota and break down the water like never before. If you like your plans loose and lines tight, then it's time to explore. Only with Humminbird. Get right to the fight. New Mega Live 2 forward-facing sonar puts you on more fish with an ultra-clear, rock-solid picture of underwater action. Next-gen clarity, next-level fun. Only with Humminbird.
That is the critical thing, because you've got to be comfortable jerking that jerkbait around your body. You're always going to be working with your rod tip down, maybe a little bit to the side. You're going to lose traction on that fish. He's going to flop off because he's got this big heavy weight flopping out of his mouth. And to a bass, that signals in their brain that that is an easy meat. They want to feed up, but they don't want to leave that object. That fish was shallow, he was parallel to where I'm standing. Reading that screen, watching, throwing, casting, learning.
At Whitewater Fishing Gear,
We build gear for the days that test your commitment. The ones launching before daylight, staying out when the wind picks up, and fishing through conditions most guys avoid. Engineered for protection, mobility, and all-day comfort. Built to perform when conditions turn rough. So you stay focused on the pursuit no matter how the elements shift. Whitewater fishing gear, built to brave the wave.
When the sun's up and the bite's on, clarity is everything. That's why serious anglers trust Redfin. Built for the water, designed for performance. Lightweight frames, crystal clear optics, and rugged durability that stands up to long days on the water. Thanks to Zeiss Repel technology, water, oil, and even sunscreen just slides right off the lenses. Your vision stays crystal clear. See more, fish smarter, and protect your eyes with Redfin. Redfin polarized sunglasses. Comfort, clarity, contrast.
Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry and where the fish are worth the fight. Because the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Welcome back, everybody. It's one thing we didn't talk to Todd about was thinking about Redfin and the amazing Zeiss technology, the polarized nature of all the sunglasses that we're wearing. But what's he wearing? What color lenses is he choosing in the bright sun and the dark, the clouds, and those types of things?
You want that info, Pete? You got to go over to Bash U. You got to check. You got to listen to the seminar. I linked the seminar in the comments section, and he discusses exactly that. So
nice.
Over there and check it out.
Yep. Go check.
Take a 7-day free trial. You can go get that juice right now.
Go sign up. Get the new Bash U app.
Yep.
And that'll be interesting to see what kind of I don't remember what lenses he uses, but man, it's an important part of this process. And I'm excited. We're going to be embarking on some great stuff we're going to be doing with Humminbird Explorer and Apex coming up. Look for that content coming from us real soon with all the features that are available on both the Apex and Explorer units. We're going to be exploring those with you guys, and come on in the boat and join us on that endeavor. Look for a lot of that coming with Bass University over the next couple of months. Excited about that. We just fished the Chesapeake. We all came up a little short on the check line this weekend. The bigger ones were a little bit harder for us to find. I know Jake and I, we had almost 18 pounds early in the morning, Riz, and then we couldn't do anything with it. Unfortunately, we stopped culling at about 10 o'clock. I mean, we caught a lot of fish, but couldn't get any more bigger bites later in the day. So, but we've been fishing in the grass. The fish are spawning, or all around us. But like you said, if we get, have you ever had, like, we fished the grass flats, massive area out in the middle. Hardly ever get a day where there's no wind. But have you had one of those days out there, Riz, where you could see them, where the wind was that calm?
Yeah, I've had it, but I've sight fished. I've had good sight fishing out there, but it's fry garters. It's in June. It's in June when we really start to settle into that, summertime, high pressure, calm, overall calmer conditions as far as the volatility of the weather changing. But it's like, there's only 2 hours a day where you could see one on a bed right now, and you need the absolute perfect conditions. And in June, you got about, it's more like you got like 5 hours of it because the water's cleaner. You can see further on both sides of the tide, and all that helps. But yeah, it's tough right now. But like, I've caught them looking at them on bed on the flat as late as 4th of July.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the latest I've ever seen one on a bed, like locked on a bed, and got it to bite. It was 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, it's really cool. As our fishery develops, the grass gets more mature, filters the water, things get clear, and you can see it in June and in July. Even if you miss the spawn, but you can see the remnants. You can see the craters, the beds everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating the abundance of life that's available where we spend most of our time fishing.
yeah.
But Riz, we got the sub of the week this week. Who we sell?
Sure
By the way,
do.
thank you for everybody that came to the SFT tackle and the Chester County tournaments. Came up to me and thanked me for Bass University. Tell me how they use it, how they, how they're watching seminars on the way down to the launch ramp. They such a great way to spend your morning, get excited about the techniques you're going to be throwing that day. So many guys are doing it. So I appreciate you guys coming out to say hi to me.
Yep. That's good stuff there. We got Justin, sub of the week, with a big brown one. Oneida Lake, pinging a minnow.
Pinging a minnow, man. Look at that. Yeah, Bass Tech Sonar just got back from Lake Oneida catching tons of 4-pounders.
That's Bass Tech Sonar's boat right there.
That's it.
That's who is fishing partner for the week, Justin.
Okay.
Wrangled that one up.
It's beautiful stuff, man. Jake's pounding me to go up north to Thousand Islands, Rich. He's like coming across his feed constantly. The 5, 6, 7 pound smaller that's caught up there in the pre-spawn right now.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad, let's go. I'm like, well, we got the high school tri-state tournament coming up. That's going to be taking place on the bay here on Saturday. So this coming Saturday. Yeah. Hopefully. I know we got some weather coming in, brother.
We got some weather coming in.
Yep. So
a lot of wind.
Yep. We'll see if the wind lays down. So we're gonna be busy doing that, man, and continuing to fish. We've got a little reprieve in tournaments down there on the bay coming up, right? When does that kick off? Like the summer kind of shuts it down there, Rich?
No. So I'm looking at my calendar right now. I got Fishers of Men this Saturday. I have Elite Force this Sunday. The following week is Legends on Saturday, SFT on Sunday. The following weekend is the Ike Foundation Pro-Am. And then the day after that is the Bass Nation. And then the weekend after that is Chester County SFT. Weekend after that is Legends. And then it shuts down. It doesn't shut down until June 19th. So every weekend until then.
Well, we're going to be doing the New Jersey Bass Nation high school stuff. And it'll be fun looking at some new water. I love to do. I'd
love to go fish new water right now. I am mad at the fishery that is right there.
Yeah.
Mad at that place.
Yeah. Well,
frustrating. It's been a frustrating start to the year, but
your time is coming, man.
I want my time to be all the time, but for 3 years in a row, I've sat in the floor of my boat after the SummerSlam feeling so frustrated, angry, and it's like it's the craziest thing. There's a lot of guys that really catch them on the bay that we're all feeling the same way right now. It's just it's such a wild dynamic the way the upper bay fishes, particularly in the pre-spawn up to the spawn of just, it can spin you. It doesn't matter how many hundreds of hours you've put in out there. It can still not necessarily spin you out, because like catching a lot of fish, like I don't feel like I'm fishing bad. I'm making decent decisions everywhere I go. It can be confusing because it's so hard to get a big one, and a lot of times that requires you to just sit down in an area and fish through it and pick through it and put a worm in your hand and throw a spinning rod and
hey, it's interesting, and I'm glad that I have my partner with me and Jake put our lunker in the boat. He put our fish in the boat both Saturday and Sunday this week, Rich. I can't tell you what an awesome thing that is to have somebody really contributing, and he's doing a hell of a job. What's up, Sparky? I look forward. Say hi. Come on and say hi whenever you see me down there, guys. And I appreciate it. Let us know what you think of BashU and what you want to see us bring. But yeah, Jake's getting better and better. It's really awesome to see him grow as an angler, make adjustments, and really be a big contributor in the team tournament side of things. So it's been pretty cool experience. We're gonna continue out with the Chester counties and look forward to doing that, so guys. So if we're gonna wrap up the show, Rich, unless I forgot something.
No, you don't want to go another 2 hours or so?
Yeah, really. I want to give some positive mojo to our friend and BashU instructor John Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Man, oh man, if you guys watch the MLF, they're down at Orange Lake. By the way, one of our subs is in Florida, and he's like looking for a place to fish. I saw the comments coming through. Jim, get down to Orange Lake, man. That place is full of giants. It's out of control watching these guys catch big ones. But John had one in his hand, Rich, which we're all estimating over 10 pounds, and it didn't go as.
Yeah, I can't even talk about it for him. I hate it. I hate to see it.
Man,
I hate to see it because it's a terrible feeling, man. He's gonna have he's gonna have a hard time forgetting about that fish, and sucks. I like John a lot, and it sucks. Also, need to send some positivity towards the Airy family as Matt's undergoing treatment for lymphoma. I don't know all the details yet. I've talked with him a little bit, just kind of sent him some encouraging words, and seems like he's doing all right. It looks like he's still fishing. He said he's trying to fish at least once a week still while he's undergoing treatment. Yeah, thinking about you, Matt. Hoping for a speedy recovery and see you back out on the Elite Series next year. Yeah, because he was having a good year, going up to this point, or he's having a decent year coming up to this point, and it's like it stinks, man. So
too much of that too close to home. Thoughts are coming your way, Matt, on speedy recovery. Hope to see you back out there. And by the way, Coach, Justin is with us. He's back there in the background. But we need to get Justin. He hasn't made an appearance on the show. I don't think he's in the witness protection program, but I can't.
Probably because of the way fantasy's going.
Oh my God! Oh, if he's here, he's going to come in to take credit for this. If you guys play fantasy, no, Rich, it flipped.
Oh,
it flipped. I had the worst fantasy picks of all time, and I'm mad at my picks. I'm not going to call them out, but I had 3 of my picks who were super studs, or excellent anglers, all finished below 90th place in the tournament down at Santee. I took an absolute beating. I had a 500-point lead on Justin in fantasy, and now I am in second place, and Justin is carrying the lead. He made up 500 points in one tournament. Yeah, devastating. Worst picks of my year probably ever on fantasy for some reason, man. It just didn't go my way, and I opened the door and Justin walked right. Good for you, kid. Good job. But here's the cool part is now that has happened, we're within 50 points of each other. So now it's a race where I was well out in front. Now it's even up. So we'll see how it goes. But Coach. Yeah, I think Justin about gave up on it too. Like I was just having a good run, and it is over for me, man. Good job, Justin Haram. Guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you being here and hanging out with us. We're going to be back. Oh, we got a guest. Big guest we're going to announce, or let's announce it now. We got we got Chris Johnston coming on, the Dominator out on Santee Cooper is going to be with us next week. We're going to be diving into things with him, and I love having the Johnstons on the show. Those guys are just so talented. They work so well together, and they are just cleaning up with another big win. Now, Corey was leading after day one, and then Chris just came on with a 32-pound bag and then some and took the dub. So tune in next Tuesday. Corey Johnston, Bash University Live. Have a great day, everybody.